My name is Duddits, I do builds and stuff. Today's video is going to be about the Swarmers and how these proc solar damage to another level. The Swarmers destroying a tangle, going to spawn Threadlings. These Threadlings are going to unravel. We're going to be pairing it up with the Cauterized Darkness to get an instant, constant 30% damage increase. We'll also be taking a look at the Yeartide Apex, how this works with it amongst other solar weapons. But Swarmers are absolutely insane this season with solar weapons. This build is going to have Threadling spamming, and like I said, Cauterized Darkness is just an infinite 30% debuff with the Unravel effects from Swarmers. Unravel forever, massive increases to your solar damage. Stay with me, I'll break it down. So, the Swarmers, destroying a tangle, spawns a Threadling. Your Threadlings unravel targets that they damage. Unraveling is a strand debuff. Unraveling effects are absolutely awesome. Very, very underrated. Like I said, it is a strand debuff. This is how they work. Every time you hit something with one of your Threadlings, it is going to unravel these targets. Now, the unraveling effects, like I said, are very underrated. When you destroy a tangle, they also spawn Threadlings. Then Threadlings will just travel forward, keep unraveling rounds left, right and centre, and it lasts for an absolute eternity. Now, if you pair it up with your Threadling Grenade, obviously you want to be using your Threadling Grenade for your Swarmers. You can also pair it up with the Weaver's Call aspect. This also spawns Threadlings. Between them two, you're going to have loads of Threadlings, and an add-on Devour for health regen and grenade recharge rate. And you can spam your Weaver's Call and your Threadling Grenades whenever you feel fit. And then just look at the state of all this green goo. This unraveling, I've said it a couple of times, it lasts for eternity. We've got loads and loads of strand artifact perks we'll look at as well, but unraveling effects, applying that debuff infinitely, and it's just all extra damage as well. Add on Threaded Blast, destroying a tangle with strand damage, increases the radius and the explosion of the damage. This is just extra damage as well as the unraveling. Then you've got Tangle Web, creating a tangle by defeating a strand debuff target, suspends nearby targets. Pair them up together. This just fits nicely with this build. You're going to get loads of extra damage when you shoot that tangle and suspend things as well. And the unraveling rounds just on its own without anything else, all them mixed together, is just free damage, literally extra damage for nothing. Add in a solar weapon like the Yeartide Apex. I've got a couple of rolls of this. I really like this one. Attrition Orbs, it feels really nicely, which you can use for many things like Sedges. Burning Ambition, not a bad little perk at all, I quite like it, but Chaos Reshaped on this one is an absolute monster. We're going to get up to 35% damage increase with this Chaos Reshaped. Now, why are solar weapons important? Now, please bear with me. I will show you why we want to be focusing on solar weapons. Take a look at these damage number against the unstunned, unstoppable champion. 10 damage, that is just without him being unstopped. Apply my unraveling via my Swarmers, and it goes up to 13. That's a 30% damage increase simply by adding Unravel. That is the Cauterized Darkness debuff. Stasis and Strand debuffed non-boss combatants take increased solar damage from all sources. So basically, non-boss combatants, that covers pretty much everything apart from bosses. Obviously, champions are not coded as bosses. All mages and everything light in harder content. And just look how long these unraveling rounds are actually lasting for. If you add in a Fever and Chill as well, on top of that, Cauterized Darkness from your Unravel from Swarmers, you're also going to be able to get Radiant on Fly as well, just with crits. And again, them unraveling rounds are still going. So we went from 10 to 13 with the Cauterized Darkness, 30%. Now we're going to simply get Radiant just by a few crits, and you're going to see it go up to 15. So that's a 30% from your Cauterized Darkness and 20% from Radiant. Absolutely wonderful. Easy damage increase. Chaos Reshaped, add that into the mix as well on this Yeartide Apex. This gives you a 35% damage increase at a ×2. Add that into the mix as well on the bottom left. Radiant 20%, 30% from your Cauterized Darkness, and you've got your Radiant on top of that as well. Absolute joke. And the Unravel is infinite. add in your Mint Retrograde with Hatchling. I love this one for my Swarmers build. You're going to spawn Threadlings, even more Unraveling. And I really like this pair combination. Slice as well, because I'm going to be using my Weaver's Call. You're going to sever targets up to 40% damage reduction against that target. And whenever you use your class ability, you're not only going to spawn Threadlings to get Slice going, you're also going to get that Vanguard Determination going as well for extra resist, which is just an absolutely insane combo. Put your Rift down, spawn Threadlings, proc your Slice, proc your resist. Crazy, crazy combo. That and the Yeartide work perfectly together, but if you add in a strong solo weapon, something like Lament, this is shield piecing and it also heals you on target when you get hits as well, So basically, you're going to have loads of damage anyway off Lament plus healing, but if you add that Cauterized Darkness on there as well, this thing just absolutely chews through champions, no problem. I just want to say as well in this video, this is just like normal sort of farming at the moment. I was just farming like I think it was like a 400, something like that, or maybe a 380 level. I've got some high-end clips to show you as well. But something like Lament works really goodly. I've got some really good, I've got some real good clips to show you of that working in some sort of 420 Grandmaster, 440 Grandmaster level as well. But your Yeartide Apex just absolutely plows through these enemies. It's crazy. Obviously, it's Overload SMG. Really, really strong. Look at the state of that. Get you Unraveling on, easy. Swarmers have always been one of my favourite exotics on the Warlock, and they just seem an absolute perfect fit this season with all the solo stuff going on, Radiant and all that type of stuff. Really strong solo weapons, give them an infinite 30% damage increase. Now, another one is the Finality's Auger. This is if you got one of these lying about. Again, I've got other options. You're going to get your turret going, get a bait and switch on that. Obviously, that's solar, so you could also play a little bit at distance as well. Get your turret down, throw your Threadling Grenade, or even your melee will also unravel as well. Suspend from the seasonal artifact perks, another strand debuff, and you can just sit back and watch your turret just absolutely rinse with that Cauterized Darkness on top as well. It just absolutely rinses things, even in 440 Grandmaster level. Again, I've got some clips to show you of that later on. So a very nice little combo with Augers. Again, you can always just run something like an Apex or a Heathen Vengeance to get that solar damage going as well. Your Arcane Needle, like I mentioned, this will also unravel. This is just another way to keep that Cauterized Darkness going with your melee. And you've also got Needle Storm, which spawns Threadlings. I personally don't really like this super that much, but with Swarmers, it does give it a little bit of a buff. You're going to unravel multiple targets at a time. The Swarmers does actually buff that super out just a little bit. Like I said, it's not my favourite super in the game. You could always switch it out to Song of Flame if needed. But I just want to sort of say, now this is the sort of like harder content. I was putting it up quite a lot. There was some like Grandmaster stuff and some high-end Master activities with some hard modifiers on. And that Apex Yeartide with Finalities just feels absolutely crazy. 2 different types of solar damage going all of the time. You'll see he's always debuffed. That's the Swarmers. Yeah, I can't tell you how good that SMG feels with this setup. It's insane. Add in the Bushido Armor Set bonus. Final blows with freshly drawn or reloaded weapons heal you. Now, you don't really need that bit because you've got your Devour, but the 4-piece bonus is absolutely fantastic, especially if you're running Lament, because you're going to get resist every time you get a kill with a sword, shotgun or bow, and obviously your Lament heals you. You're going to get that resist, and just look at that unraveling debuff there with them targets there to just get wrecked. And you'll notice I've got that resist going as well. I've got my Devour going. It just feels crazy. And I always say about Lament, it's not just good against anti-barriers, it wrecks everything, all champions as well. So Lament, like I said, is already really strong. Add that 30% Cauterized on there, and it's a joke. Plus healing, plus your Bushido. It's an absolute perfect combination. Straight out of heaven. Absolutely awesome. I love it. Again, your Threadlings. Again, like I said, Cauterized Darkness does not work against bosses. He's counted as bosses, but you still get extra damage anyway from the unraveling. But the bosses, I wish it did work against bosses, but bosses are only actually a really small part of your end game activity anyway. You mainly get champions and mages. So I'll probably say 90% of the time, you're going to have your 30% Cauterized working up with this build. I've showed Lament, Finalities in the Yeartide. There is other strong solo weapons that you can also take advantage of. Lord of Wolves is already strong. You're going to be even stronger. You've got the Fur Nutria Ferret as well. That could be great with Surrounded. You got the Ahab Char with Heal Clip Incandescent or Heal Clip Burning Ambition. We'll go over my fragments. Facet of Awakening, rapidly defeating targets with light or darkness damage or super damage. Final Blows generates an elemental pickup of the matching type. You're going to get loads of extra tangles. While surrounded by combatants, you are more resistant to incoming damage. Facet of Protection, it's a no-brainer that one. Facet of Hope, while you have an elemental buff, your class ability regenerates more quickly. Perfect for your Weaver's Call. Facet of Purpose, every time you pick up an Orb of Power, you are going to get Woven Mail. Really, really good. Fragment that one on your Prismatic. Woven Mail's a 40% damage reduction. And then finally, we're going to run Facet of Balance. Rapidly defeating targets with light damage, grants melee energy, and darkness damage, where your Mint Retrograde is going to keep your Threadling Grenade nice and topped up. I'll leave my mods playing out. I just built really into a solo weapon surge. There's a couple of powerful attractions on there. There's my fragments we talked about and my aspects, just in case you wanted to sort of look at that versus listening to my gob going on. The ones that stand out to me, I tried Lord of Wolves, that is very, very good. But for me, Lament and Finalities Augur sort of like complement two different types of playing. Sit at a distance, or you can get up close with your Lament or your Lord of Wolves. And then this final little clip, I think this was like a 440 Grandmaster, maybe a 420 or a 440, but we know these Wyverns in here are pretty tanky, and just look what Finalities Augur and the Unraveling Rounds do to him, and that Cauterized just absolutely destroys him. Nice and safe at the back. I hope you found this video somewhat helpful. I'll leave a dim link in the video description. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.